Sarah was driving through the fog. The darkness outside her car was only illuminated by the faint glow of her headlights, and the shadows on the trees seemed to be moving, as if they were trying to reach out to her. The eerie atmosphere was making her skin crawl. She was trying to shake off the feeling of being watched, but it only seemed to be getting stronger. The fog was getting thicker, and she was starting to feel disoriented. As she drove, the fog started to clear up, and she found herself in a deserted town. The streets were empty, and the houses were all dark. It was as if the town was abandoned, but then she saw a figure in the distance. It was a woman walking down the street. With a blank expression on her face, Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she realized the woman was her, or at least it looked like her. The resemblance was uncanny. Sarah got out of her car and started to follow the woman. She was trying to understand what was going on and why this woman looked so much like her. As she walked, the shadows seemed to be getting longer, and the darkness was starting to feel oppressive. She was starting to feel like she was being pulled into a nightmare. The woman was leading her deeper into the town, and Sarah was starting to feel a sense of dread. The woman stopped in front of a house. It was an old mansion, with tall windows and a big door. It looked abandoned, but the woman opened the door and walked inside. Sarah followed her and found herself in a grand hallway, with a chandelier hanging from the ceiling. The room was filled with cobwebs, and the air was thick with dust. It was as if no one had been there for years. As Sarah looked around, she started to feel a sense of familiarity. It was as if she had been there before, but she couldn't quite remember. The woman was standing in front of her, with a blank expression, and Sarah felt a sense of unease. She was trying to understand what was going on, but everything seemed to be shrouded in mystery. The shadows in the room seemed to be moving, and the darkness was starting to feel alive. The woman started to walk up the stairs, and Sarah followed her. The stairs creaked beneath their feet, and the shadows seemed to be getting longer. The darkness was starting to feel oppressive. Sarah was trying to understand what was going on, but everything seemed to be getting more and more confusing. The woman stopped at a door and opened it, revealing a room filled with old photographs, and Sarah's heart skipped a beat as she saw her own face staring back at her. As Sarah looked at the photographs, she started to remember she was a sleepwalker, and she had been walking in her sleep for miles. She had no memory of how she got there, but the photographs seemed to be telling a story of a woman who was not what she seemed. The woman in the photographs was not just a woman, but a creature that was capable of manipulating the minds of others, and Sarah realized that she was not herself, but a puppet, controlled by this creature. And as Sarah looked at the last photograph, she saw her own face, but it was not her face. It was the face of the creature, staring back at her, with a smile, and Sarah realized that she was the creature. She was the one who had been controlling her own mind, and the woman she had been following was just a puppet created by her own mind, to keep her from remembering the truth. And as the truth dawned on her, the darkness closed in, and everything went black.